What's up, guys? It's Rob here, and today we're going to be talking about BBIG stock, which, although it's down about 2% on the day, is still having a really good day because shorts are trying to push this thing down, but they have been unable to push it down past 2%. So let's take a look at the chart and see what I'm talking about. So first of all, if you look in the after hours and pre-market, you can see that BBIG was getting pushed down until when market opened. We actually bounced off of 6 magnificently, right? We had a double bottom right here with these two bars, and shorts were trying to push us down. We'll look at the short data in a second, but you can see that 6 has acted as a very, very strong support level for the stock, which is what we like to see. We like to see strong support when we're downtrending and rebounds off of those levels. Now you can see that 6 was formed, long before this, it was formed as a support level, but it acted very strongly as well when we were experiencing the massive dip off of the SEC report, which we'll also take a look at, that delayed the Tide spin-off dividend for BBIG stock. So you can see that we were barely able to break through 6 at all, even off of this horrific momentum downwards. And when we did break through 6, we still had the 570 level as a support level, which had also, formed itself in the past. If we look at the past 30 days, you can see when these formed, you can see $6 and 570 were both very strong supports for the stock in the past. So it is my expectation that if we do return to $6, we will likely bounce off of it again. And if not, if we do break through 6, I think that 570 will show some resistance for the stock as well. I expect that this will act as another huge support level for the stock if we happen to break through 6, right? I don't expect that we'll be able to because I think that shorts really are throwing a lot at this stock, and they've been unable to break us through so far. I think that this stock has a lot going for it. And if you actually look at the short data, you can see what I'm talking about, right? They are shorting 3% more shares today than they were yesterday. So shorts are definitely trying to double down on their position. However, they are currently sitting at a 95% utilization rate. So there really aren't that many shares left to short, even if they wanted to. And if you look at the current short interest as a percentage of the free float, it is still very high, 25%. Not the highest that we've seen, but if you look at the utilization, you can see that, yeah, it is most of the shares available to short, right? And shorts have been trying to push this thing down for a long time. You can see, if you look at this yellow line, they've just continually been building up their position day after day, pretty much never really decreasing it by that much, only a couple of percentage points every now and then. And it's basically just been moving up in a straight line almost. So shorts really are trying to push this thing down, and it's very comforting to see that they were rejected at the $6 level and that we continued moving up, and will hopefully continue trending up throughout the course of the day, right? I expect that this Tide dividend news that came out on the SEC filing that they released the other day, although it is somewhat negative, right? Everyone wanted the Tide dividend now. They want it sooner rather than later. It doesn't necessarily mean that there's any less value in the dividend itself. It's just going to be happening a little bit later, and I think that this will actually be a good thing overall for BBIG stock because it will give people more time to hear about the stock who haven't heard about it. This is the first dividend of its kind, I believe. So, a lot of people are likely going to want to get these Tide shares, be part of the movement, part of the first group to ever get a spin-off dividend like this. And I think that that will incentivize a lot of people over the next 60 days, which is how long we have until the actual dividend record date on December 27th or about December 27th. I think that will give people a lot of time to get into this stock and continue to move us up. And that's actually a good thing for people who are holding BBIG now, because if the Tide dividend did just come out tomorrow on Friday, or well, rather, if it was recorded tomorrow on Friday, then while we may have been squeezing up in the meantime, over the next 60 days, who knows what would have happened. Right now, we actually still have a catalyst going for us for the next 60 days that could potentially be driving us up and keep this squeeze going. Because if we didn't squeeze today or tomorrow, and this Tide dividend had not been delayed, then shorts may have gotten off the hook because most of the buying pressure would have occurred before the dividend came out. And then there may have been selling pressure after the dividend, right? People may have just scooped up the stock to grab the dividend and then sold it afterwards. So this is actually giving us a bit more time to go on with a short squeeze. And you can see that we are actually doing very well in terms of how active this stock is, right? It's the number one trending stock on StockTwits, BBIG, despite being down on the day. Usually that's not the case when a stock is down on the day, that it's the number one trending stock. Typically, StockTwits looks at the most pumped up stocks. However, we are waning a bit when you look at Wall Street Bets and Reddit. You can see that we're down 2 spots today, down to spot number 13. Vinco Ventures BBIG is down 51% mention-wise. So we have been declining a bit on Reddit and Wall Street Bets, likely because this is a bit of a laggard indicator, right? This indicator the rankings on Wall Street Bets, it takes time for people to post. It takes time for people to find those posts and upvote them and comment on them. And oftentimes you'll see that Reddit and Wall Street Bets are not quite up to date with these stocks. However, it does give a good indication of how many people in general are looking at them, right? The fact that we're down 51% means that it stopped growing in popularity. Likely it was getting very high in anticipation of the tyde dividend. People were expecting this thing to be shooting up, and we're talking about it all over Reddit and Wall Street Bets, and that's likely why it was pumping up so much. And now that that's been delayed, I do expect we'll see an increase in volume on Reddit and Wall Street Bets for Vinco Ventures just before the dividend. But over the next 60 days, that's a long time to stay trending, so it's likely that we will fall a bit more unless we do see some big price action swings. And you can also see that on Google, we are starting to trend a little bit lower, right? Today, we're not quite as high as we were over the past couple of days. Obviously, that's to be expected, right? People were expecting the dividend. People were searching for the stock a lot, learning about the dividend. And then as soon as the dividend was delayed, a bunch of people were searching for this stock because they wanted to hear about the crash that was experienced. So there are lots of reasons why this stock was trending very high on Google Trends the past couple of days. And it's to be expected that we will see a bit of a decline just because we're kind of consolidating right here around this $6 to $8 level or $6 to $7 level. So that is to be expected, right? I will probably bounce around here for a bit before moving on in an either upwards or downwards direction, depending on who can take control of the stock, the bulls or the bears. Now, with BBIG, it is important to mention that we do have a 25% short interest. So that does leave open the possibility for a short squeeze over the next 60 days. I think that would be very possible, right? If we do get a lot of buying pressure for the stock, obviously it's going to be tough just immediately after this bad news because this big pump down did send us on a somewhat downwards negative trajectory while we were bouncing back yesterday. We are going to be bouncing off of support again, it looks like. Hopefully, at least, we'll be bouncing off of support and not moving lower. It's not guaranteed, but I do expect that we'll probably consolidate in this area, not move too much lower. Maybe we'll break through 6, but 570 will be a fierce support level for us, I think, if that does happen. And if we break through that, then we always have $5 to fall back on, which honestly isn't the worst considering where we were just a couple of days ago, right? We were down at 5 anyways. However, there is still the tyde dividend coming out. I think that over time, this will likely appreciate in price as more people are piling in, trying to get in on that, and as more hype and news are spread about that. So overall, I think BBIG will be moving up over the mid to long term. However, in the short term, it is notable that, potentially this is a big downwards trend and shorts are doubling down. You can see they're up 3.45%, that increased by 0.45% while we were making this video. So obviously shorts are trying to push this thing down a little bit, likely in anticipation of the expiration of all of these call options tomorrow, okay? The October 22nd strike date is tomorrow. Today is Thursday, tomorrow's Friday when all of these options expire, and they do not want these to be in the money. They don't want to be paying out BBIG shares in exchange for people who have bought these call options. They want these to expire worthless. So it's likely that institutions are probably pushing us down right before these call options expire on the 22nd because you can see there are 9,000 call options for the 650 strike price, 14,000 for $7, 18,000 for $7.50, 15,000 for $8, 25,000 for $10. There's just a ton of these open interest call options that people were buying up in expectation of the dividend. And even yesterday when they saw the massive dip, people were likely buying up some call options, expecting potentially a rally and a rebound. And while it looks like that may not be the case, it looks like shorts may have gotten the better of a lot of people and are trying to hold this thing below 650 at least. I think they will face some resistance at $6. I'm not meaning to say that they can't break through 6. That 6 is an immovable support level. I think that potentially they could. But it's worth noting that below that, we have the 570 right there, which is where we bounced off of the last time when we were seeing a massive dip in stock price. Off of the tyde dividend news, you see that we were bouncing off of 6 initially, and then we were able to use 570 as support, which ultimately sent us into this short-term uptrend, right? So I think that it's unlikely we'll break through both of those, at least in a short period of time, right? Over the long term, maybe shorts can manipulate this thing. Maybe they can put out some propaganda, but it really doesn't seem too likely to me. And obviously, this is just my opinion. It's not financial advice. I'm not trying to tell you guys to buy the stock or sell the stock or hold it or do anything with it. I'm just giving you guys my opinion, what I think about it, based off the TA and based off the news and all the Ortex data that we've got. So other than that, guys, that's what I have for you on BBIG stock. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Other than that, I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day. Bye.